Hello folks, it's me again Tabo, and welcome to another devlog. So today I'm just going to carry on from where I left off. Last time I did a series of tests, and this time I just went to Blender and started creating the basic shapes, which is what the stage will look like. So I wanted to do more light tests. So the more geometry one has, the more it takes to bake everything. And you also have to have a really tight UV texture. So everything has to be packed into one UV set or into one texture. So then I did that, started unwrapping and then doing some basic baking. And I must say this process took quite a long time, because the more geometry I added, then the more complicated it got in terms of just packing the UVs correctly. And one other challenge is that the more UVs you have, then you have to increase the size of your texture. So you might end up using like an 8K texture, even though I only stuck to using 2K. But that is, well, for the final product, that is not the way to go, because then there's a lot of pixelation and it starts to bleed into the other tiles that are next to it. So these were some of the challenges that I faced. But my overall plan was to then create light maps and then take them to Threejs, see how it looks, and then use Octree already to put in my camera so that I can start walking through the world. So that's what I did. After spending what seemed like an entire day just pretty much getting the right settings for the light maps, which was really annoying, I must say. And then I finally just got it to work and then put it into Threejs and just did basic things like, just the environment, the color of the sky and things like that. Nothing big really, just simple things just to kind of get an idea of how the whole world will feel like. So this is what it looks like in Threejs with my Octree, and I decided also to exclude the statue from light mapping, because that's actually one of the models that really took a lot of my time, because it's a mess. The geometry is really messy, so then creating a nice UV set for it was really a mission. So I just decided to scrap it because it wasn't even important. Sometimes I tend to obsess over these things and then I spend a lot of time on something that is really not even worth my time. So that's one thing that I also have to keep in check. I get obsessed and wanted to get things to work, but sometimes I realize that that's not even important at all. Anyway, so I just excluded it, so you will see that it looks different from the rest of the geometry. And the light map also, at some point I had to bump it up, but I will take you through all of that. Okay, so after walking through the scene, I decided to go to Krita so I can bump up the light map, because I'm not happy with the color. And I also realized that maybe that might be something I might need to do in the end, because it means that in Blender I have to set the lighting to such a ridiculous intensity that it doesn't make sense. Maybe that's what I might need to do. So I just went to Krita, and so I took that light map and used that instead to see what it looks like. And it looks a lot better. I don't know if that's what I actually want to go for, because the color is also a bit lighter, but I will see. So I just wanted to still have a look and see what that looks like. Okay, so as I'm navigating the scene, one of the things that I was mentioning earlier with the resolution, that when you have a lower resolution texture, then the tiles tend to bleed into each other. You can see there are some dark blotches on some of the geometry on the texture, like the ring in the middle. So these are just minor things. I mean, I'm expecting this. I didn't expect it to be perfect, but this serves as a good base for me to understand what to expect. So I can imagine with a 6K texture that it will definitely look a lot better. So yeah, I'm glad with where I am, even though I had expected to have done a lot more in terms of my checklist. I still want to
do some raycasting, you know, to find a way of interacting with the object, since I'm going to be using this pointer lock system to interact with the world, meaning that I cannot rely on my mouse clicks to click on objects, because I'm using the mouse to navigate the environment. Like, that's what I'm using to rotate the camera so I can look around my environment. So that's not reliable, meaning that I will have to find another way. So I thought of maybe using the center of the screen as the point where I cast the ray. I can maybe include a sprite or something like that, a circle, which will scale whenever there is an object that I can interact with, or an object that is selectable, something like that. So yeah, still have a lot to do, a hell of a lot to do, but this is where I am. So yes, thanks for tuning in, and with all that said, love and peace, I'm out.